Comic Uno, and today I'm doing my top 10 under-the-radar, underrated comic books. And the person who recommended this was Rafe Mahadio, who's actually from Facebook, so follow my Facebook. But yeah, so if you guys have any recommendations, you could recommend on Facebook, or you could go in the comments below and tell me what topic video you want me to do next, and if I answer them, that means in a couple of weeks it'll either be on Dark Avenger Inc. or Comic Uno, because I double dose my topic videos. Usually for Comic Uno I have them every Thursday with my comic book reviews, and for Dark Avenger Inc. I have them every Sunday. But let's talk about this topic video, top 10 under the radar, underrated comic books. Now what does that mean? You know, some people don't know what under the radar means and underrated, so I'm just going to describe that before I talk about it. It means a comic that is not so popular, but is great and should be popular. So, like, there's, like, Daredevil, who I guess some people think is under the radar, but it won some Eisner Awards, so I didn't put it on the list. But, there are, you know, titles like Batwing or whatever, you know, these titles not a lot of people know of or aren't so popular that should be popular. Now, these are my top 10 under the radar comic books. And I do have the issue with me, so that way you can have a cover and, like, a look of what the comic is. So number 10 is The Superior Foes of Spider-Man. Now, this is a new title, so maybe I'm judging this right away, but I really like it. It does have that simple taste. Not a lot of people know, I mean, people know of it, but not a lot of people know it's really good. It's really simple. It makes you like the villain, which is really a change, because, like, with Superior Spider-Man, you want to hate the villain, hero, villain, but this is a way to really make a villain likable and really want to follow this villain. And they're C-list villains, and you don't really get to see that much, and it's like Shocker, Boomerang, characters you've seen before but never cared about. So that's why I really enjoy this one. Definitely recommend it. That's number 10 on my list for top 10 underrated comic books. Number 9 is Nova. You know, this is a little bit up and down. Sometimes there's a lot of filler issues, but I think this is one of the best Marvel Now titles, or, again, one of the best Marvel Now titles that are out. It's about a young boy who became Nova, found out his father was a superhero, and we get to follow his journey. I think it's just a really fun book. The art is kind of cartoony, but I think it fits really well with this book, and I think we're getting some family values here with the mother, and, you know, a young superhero trying to figure out how to be a superhero, and getting Nova back. We haven't seen a Nova title in a little while. You know, it connects space, and it's grounded at the same time, because Nova does live on Earth, and pretty much has all his adventures on Earth so far. So I like how grounded this series is, and makes it a little bit different. So that is number 9 on my list. Next is number 8, which is Wolverine and X-Men. Love this series. You know, this is another series that could be up and down. There's some issues that I'm like, wow, what's going on here? This is horrible. But then there's those issues that really surprise you. And usually this series really does surprise you. You know, let's negate that Carnival story arc. But other than that, there's been really great issues here. And it makes you care about the students that usually, for most I guess school-related books like X-Men makes these characters usually backdrop characters, but we actually really care for these students and learn about the students, like Idy and Quentin, and Snot Boy, who's actually wasn't a student, but and Husk, you know, but it really integrates with the students to the teachers. We get to see both stories and how they relate. So it's not like we're only learning about Quentin and Idy's story, we're also getting Kitty Pryde and Wolverine's story. And they really make it really organic and make them really have a story together. And we get to see them have school life, be normal, but also be mutants. So I have a lot of fun with this series all the time. And again, I like that the students aren't just backdrop, where it's so easy to make these students backdrop. They actually took the time to really develop them. So that's why number 8 is Wolverine and X-Men. I feel like more people should be picking up. I think a lot of people actually negate it and like, oh, there's too many Wolverine series. If you're going to pick up a Wolverine series or X-Men series, I think this one's worth it. In my opinion, better than Uncanny X-Men. Next is actually a series I just started reading, but I pretty much binged read it. I read the first volume and really caught up with a lot of back issues, and that is Animal Man. Issue 21. Well, Animal Man in general. I'm just showing you issue 21. But yeah, as you can tell, I did get the back issue for this. I got some back issues off Midtown, which I'm sure you can get back issues for. This is number 7 on my list, and I love the family aspect to this, and I think a lot of people do know it's a special series, but not a lot of people give it a try. It is dark. There is, I could probably even show you this issue, and you can see some weirdness in this. There is some dark tones here. And some creepiness. Look, the red's coming out over here. There's some creepiness here, but I love the family tone. It's really not about Animal Man, but it's about how Animal Man fits into the family and how there's troubles with the family. But I love that, and really the connection of Buddy to his family. And you know, right now it's a little apart right now, his family, and there's some other commotion going on with his fame now because he's an actor. So that also brings a cool dynamic to Animal Man. So if you're not picking this up, it's kind of creepy, it's kind of dark, but it's so fun, and I've been really enjoying this series. It's one of my favorites, actually. Not just an underrated series, but one of my favorites in general. But if you haven't been picking up Animal Man, pick up the trades. It's really great. Alright, number 6 is actually a series that's been my pick of the week for a couple issues now. Last issue was my pick of the week from last week, and that's Vibe. I've been loving this series, you know, ever since I would say maybe the last issue. This series has been a 5-star book. You know, it's another series that has the family aspect, but it makes a B-rated character interesting and actually likable. Like, when I first heard about this series, I'm like, alright, this series is gonna get canceled, he's gonna be a joke, but honestly, Jeff Johns first molded the character, then we have Sterling Gates, who just went out and made this character likable, and I loved it. I really do, and I love how this character is likable and really relatable. I think my Spider Slayer even said it reminds us of Peter Parker, you know, and I think that's definitely a good depiction of Vibe. It has that relatable sense to his character because he is a B-listed character. He's trying to go up the ranks, but trying to just be a normal person also, and he has his brothers, and he has, I guess, family problems after this issue, but it's just a really fun issue, and him trying to just find himself as, I guess, a person and a superhero, because he just jumped into the superhero business just recently, and should he trust the Justice League of America is another question. So yeah, if you haven't been reading Vibe, it's a great series, and if you like Peter Parker, I think you'll really like this, because I think my Spider Slayer really hit that on the nail. It's like a Peter Parker book, and I think that's why I enjoy it a lot. Number 5 is actually an indie book that I've been loving since issue 1, and that came out like 2 years ago, and that's Morning Glories. You know, it's on and off with this series only because it does get very confusing. I would not recommend you just randomly pick up issue 30. This is a series you gotta pick up from the beginning with trades, but it's really an underrated series. Honestly, under the radar for indie books also. I never hear anyone talk about this series, and it's honestly a really great mystery story. And yeah, the one bad thing about this is that you don't get as many answers as you want, and maybe they could work that a little bit better, but you got enough questions that you keep wanting more, and you really enjoy the characters from issue 1 and just on, and then you get onward, and then you get even more characters to enjoy, and this issue is a perfect example of that also. But if you like mystery stories and simple art, you know, you don't have that dark art that all mystery stories tend to do, Morning Glory is definitely for you. And again, it's an indie book that no one talks about, which I really think more people should be talking about it. Alright, number 4 is, you know, was kind of borderline. It's kind of popular, so, but I'm going to keep it on under the radar. And that's Hawkeye. You know, I've been enjoying this series a lot, especially the first couple issues. You know, it's been a little longing and prolonging that they keep talking about the same event over and over again in 5 people's different points of view. I'm hoping after the story arc it'll go back on track of what we loved about Hawkeye. And I love how simple this story is. And then the dynamic between Kate and Clint really works here. And I love that. And again, the simplicity of a regular guy being an Avengers. And that's really what Clint is. And I think Matt Fraction is doing an amazing job here, and also the art's really great. I can't show it for this issue because David Aja did not do this issue. It's a little bit puffier for the annual, but Aja usually does a great job, and again, showing the simplicity like Daredevil. It's kind of similar to Daredevil's tone. So if you're not reading Hawkeye, I recommend it, especially that first trade. You know, there's some issues here and there that are just solid, but still a really good book. Alright, number 3 is Batgirl. Love this series. I think Gail Simone's doing a great job on Barbara Gordon's story, and it's one of those stories that, yeah, it's story arc to story arc, but it's not defined by story arcs. It feels like a whole series. There's some series that it's just like, alright, let's just tell this story arc. That's the only story that's going to be told. We're never going to go back to it again. It was just a filler story arc. But I think every story arc for Batgirl builds on itself, and you really see that story develop more as issues go on. So it feels like it's not just a filler story arc just to tell a story. It really adds layers to the series. And really, like what Batgirl wanted, is just going to be a great story arc between Commissioner Gordon and Batgirl, but was really developing since 2 story arcs ago when Barbara killed her brother. So yeah, there's a lot of crazy stuff that happens like that. So I recommend this totally. I love this series. It tends to be my pick of the week also a lot. So definitely pick up Batgirl if you haven't been. It's one of my favorite Bat titles, especially if you like Barbara Gordon. Number 2 is Flash. Love this series. The paneling is great, the art is amazing, and the story keeps you on the edge of your seat all the time. It's another series I don't hear a lot of people talk about, besides, you know, my group of friends who I've recommended Flash to. But I haven't really heard anyone else really talk about this series, but I hope more people do, because this series is amazing. I love the art for it, I love the story, and again, I think the characters are very well developed, and it's not just story arc by story arc. It really develops from each story arc that we get to see these characters develop. And we have a cool love triangle here, but it's not forced and it doesn't feel trope-like. It feels different between Patty and Iris and Flash, so that's cool. We get cool villains like Gorilla Grodd and Reverse Flash, so read this if you're not. The art is amazing, the story is amazing, and I recommend it to everybody. And it really is a series I don't hear a lot of people talking about, or at least not enough people talking about it. Alright, number 1 is Ultimate Comics Spider-Man. Come on. A series that more people need to talk about. Miles, I think, is a great character. I know a lot of people tended to stay away from him because he was a replacement to Peter Parker, and like no one could replace Peter Parker. Look what they did with Superior Spider-Man. Look what they did with Ben Reilly. But no, it's really different here. Miles, yeah, he took the mantle, but he's a different character. But also has the same traits as Peter, which I really enjoy. But it's not a clone of Peter, you know? He is a different character, but again, has the same traits as Peter. And we also have those supporting characters that we usually are just forgotten once someone takes the mantle, and usually never developed. But with this, we can see Gwen Stacy still, Mary Jane, Aunt May, Spider-Woman, Jessica Drew. So we get to see characters from the past really merge into Miles's world and having those new characters developed. And honestly, these stories, you could have a non-interesting character you don't care about, but with one issue, there could be an origin story. You're like, wow, I actually really care for this character now. And I love that about Spider-Man. I think this year alone really just developed Miles's character to make this series amazing. It used to just be like this mediocre series, but this year it just really... it really went out of the park this year. So if you haven't been reading Ultimate Comics Spider-Man, give it a chance. I know that Peter died, but Peter died in a really good way and had us have a really good Spider-Man also. So pick this series up. I recommend it. Hope you guys enjoyed. That's my top 10 underrated comic books. Tell me comic books you think are underrated, you think that should be popular that aren't, and tell me why you think they should be popular, and tell me if you like my choices, because these are comics I really enjoy, which I think should be more popular. So I hope you guys enjoyed. This is Comic Uno, and there'll be another topic video next Thursday and on Sunday for Dark Avenger Inc. Guys, don't forget to follow me on Twitter for Comic Uno and the Rad Situations, and don't forget to like me on Facebook. See you guys later. Bye.